Hello everyone, this is Ippe and now we are back in Angels with Scaly Wings. So last time we saw Udine's endings and we had to think who will be the next one for endings, and I think it should be Anna because we have seen her a few times before already, I mean. You decided not to meet anyone or investigate for the 10th time. Who cares? Well, that's quite an achievement. I think I said that we will try this one when we get Anna's ending, so let's see what happens. Alright, I gotta score myself some sweet lab equipment. That's the least she can do for making me wait. Or maybe I'll just wait inside. Staying around here is getting rather tedious. Pushing the door does nothing, neither does pulling. Guess I'm out of options here. Hey, what's this? At the bottom of the door, the corner of an envelope was noticeably sticking out. I think we should take it. Pulling at the corner, I was now holding the envelope in my hands. Well, I gotta pass the time somehow, right? Let's see. Dear Anna, appointment for the next month. Treatment plan. Dr. Valedo. I probably shouldn't be looking at this. Quickly, I put the letter back into the envelope and pushed it through the gap in the door. Well, there should be an achievement of looking at the letter. But then again, I had this... Yep. Recording happens. Bad things happen when recording, so yeah. And the bad thing is, if I get an achievement, I need to remember where it was, and I need to say it. Because it doesn't show up anymore, of course. And there should be an achievement that was just totally random. It feels weird to skip everything. But then again, I really need those endings and I don't want my videos to be too long. And of course, it's nice if I go through the same dialogues over and over again. So yeah, skipping is the only option I have here. There you are. I was wondering if you'd even show up. I wouldn't miss an opportunity to meet you. I'm an honorable person. I didn't have anything better to do anyway. Well, I wouldn't miss an opportunity to meet you. Well, I wouldn't. I need your endings. A glutton for punishment, huh? Not that I mind. Follow me, please. So what exactly is this room? It's a testing room for research on live subjects. And what exactly do you test here? You see, that's soon enough. I intend to use this facility to its fullest potential. Oh, I see. Let's start with this one. What's that? I can get a good look at your bone structure, muscle groups, and organs with this. For the finer details, we need a different machine. Would you please lie down here? Of course. Before we start, can I ask about your qualifications? You can trust me, I'm a doctor. What kind of doctor? Well, Doctor of Pharmacy is the only title I currently hold, but I know how to operate this machinery. That doesn't exactly inspire confidence. You think I'd let an opportunity like this go to waste by not doing my research? I'll have you know that I'm very qualified to perform these tests. If you say so. Now please try not to move too much while this is running. And how long will that be? Good question. I suppose we'll see soon enough. And what do we do now? Just wait until it's over? What do you want me to do? Dance for you so you don't get bored? I wouldn't mind that. Just forget I said anything. What does a dancing dragon look like anyway? Just forget I said anything. I will. You know, when I heard that something happened at the facility, I thought it might have been you. It's quite something, isn't it? You know, if I stayed as late as I used to, it might have been me instead of Damien. And it's only because you told me not to stay late so often that I wasn't there that night. Still somebody died. I'm not crying over that. Alright, you can move again. Does that mean I'm done? That's a good one. We're just getting started. What about the results? Don't hold your breath. It'll be processing for some time, and the resulting data will be so vast that I'll probably end up studying it for days. Let's collect some samples now. Where should I start? Wherever you like. Show me your claws. That would be fingernails in my case. I suppose you're right. It would be insulting to call those thin little things of yours claws. They'd probably break off before you could make use of them in any practical way. Just one more way nature gave us the short end of the stick. So, which part would be fine for me to cut off? Take a piece from the white part, the rest you see is attached to the finger. Hold still then. Don't cut off too much. Don't worry, I only need enough to put it under a microscope. Hey, was that so bad? Do you want me to put a bandage on your little boo-boo? Whatever, I'll show you a boo-boo. You better behave, I'm doing you a favor. Whatever. Oh, I guess with the right training, I can make something out of you after all. And what now? Now it'll go right under the microscope. She got up and sat down at the table. Intently, Anna stared at the device while messing around with the nail clipping. Let's see. Putting your fingernail under a microscope is something we used to do in middle school. Quiet, please. There's a scientist at work here. Okay. This structure looks a lot like keratin. I could have told you that. Is that supposed to mean anything because it is? Well, because it is. Well, that's not much of a surprise, really. Keratin is the substance that forms the claws on us dragons and most of the animals here, at least as far as mammals, reptiles and birds are concerned. So why you would recreate the structure but not do anything useful with it is beyond me. It gets better. They grow continuously, so they need to be cut regularly. What happens if you don't cut them? They just keep growing. How much can they keep growing? Pretty much indefinitely. Do they get thicker at least, or what else happens when they grow? They just get longer. What a hassle. So, how long are you planning on keeping me here? Getting impatient already? I'm just saying our date didn't take all that long, and you mentioned you'll already have days worth of data from that machine. Well, we never specified any terms, and I set our date until it was obviously over. This will certainly go by much quicker if you can show a little patience. Says the queen of complaining. I'll just shut up then. Just hurry up. This is a difficult one. Which one should I choose? Well, it's absolutely not this one. But which one of these? Says the queen of complaining. Let's choose that one. I don't complain, I just point out errors. Besides, I'd be empress, not just a queen. By the way, how do you feel about needles? I don't mind them. Go ahead and poke me if you need to, please no. Go ahead and poke if you need to. The faster it's over, the better. I see. I'll make the most of it then. You'll need to remove some layers for the next part. What are you going to do? These are just some electrodes, and also measure your brain activity with one of those helmets. Alright. There you go. What is it now? This is kind of embarrassing. It's kinda cold in here, nothing. It's kinda cold in here. Is it? I suppose it might be for you, considering your lack of fur. Luckily, our scarves are pretty good insulators, as you saw last time. It actually goes both ways. Pretty resistant to both heat and cold. Just let me know if I turn blue. You turn blue when you get cold? I'd like to see that. It was just a joke. Besides, when that happens, it's usually too late to get out of it again unscathed. What a shame. This will also take a while. I want to have a good reference and see how your rates change. Your head shape is a little different from ours, but I think this one should do the trick. Perfect. Just as if it was made for you. I'm not so sure of that. By the way, how can you even be sure that your machinery will have no adverse effects on me? I suppose I can. That is mildly unsettling. Your physiology, I have no idea, is similar enough to ours that there shouldn't be any problems. I see. Now I'm going to ask you a few questions. What is this? A polygraph test? No, this is something completely different. I'm also measuring your brain activity here. Besides, I don't really care about the truthfulness of your answers. Rather, this is to establish your natural highs and lows of the values I'm measuring. Go ahead then. Let's start with the easy ones. Just say no to the following 3 questions. It doesn't matter if it's true or not, understood? No, yes, I'm not sure. Does this question already count? Does this question count already? No. Apparently you get it though. The questions start now. Are you human? No. I see. Is your favorite color red? No. Interesting. Have you been convicted of any crime? No. I see. Now, we get the real part. You can answer the following questions however you like. Got it? Did it make you uneasy when you had to answer all the test questions negatively? It really didn't. I see. Interesting. Have you taken a liking to anyone here since you arrived? Why does everyone keep asking me that? I see. Did you have any ulterior motives when you came to our world? Or is it as simple as we are led to believe? There are no ulterior motives. I see. That's all for this test. You can take off the helmet and I'll take care of the electrodes. This kinda seems like an interrogation. Well, yeah. Have you had any crimes? That really seemed like an interrogation, really. I wanted to keep it simple by asking questions that will get a reaction. I see. It's kinda shame, because in the end, a lack of additional subjects for this test means those results might not be very useful to us. We'll probably need a few more humans. Then why do them in the first place? The data is still useful, just not as useful as it could be, and besides, I did tell you I'd make most of this through. Well, what's next? I'm not sure yet. Do I want to get close enough to examine mucus and orifices? Probably not. Yes, there's only one person in this room who can answer that question. There's only one person.
I guess so.
We quarantined Retsa when he initially arrived here, but skipped the procedure with you. After examining Retsa, we didn't think humans by themselves posed any danger. Nevertheless, who knows what kind of illness and bacteria you might be housing as an alternate host? I'm not taking that risk without a full protective suit. Does that mean your procedures are going to get a lot more invasive?
No, I'm not in the mood to put the suit on and sterilize the full room.
To be fair, I haven't heard of anyone I've been in contact with getting any strange diseases thus far.
Sad, but then I had to ask you if any of those actually got close enough to you. As in, intimately close.
Are you suggesting something here? No, or revised examinations then.
For the next planet, we'll actually have to go outside.
That sounds like fun.
Depends. Here, strap this to your arm.
What's this?
The health monitor. I want to measure how you perform during exercise.
I did like exercising. Awesome. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
That's a good little human.
Well, thanks.
Let's go then, shall we?
Sure thing. And now?
Take one lap around the block. I'll be waiting for you here. You can go as fast or slow as you want, but try not to stop until you're back here. I'll be monitoring you, so I'll know if you try to do anything fishy.
I wouldn't do such a thing. A piece of cake, no need to point out the obvious. No need to point out the obvious.
You wouldn't believe the kinds of people I had to deal with sometimes.
I could say the same thing.
Is that so? Anyway, you can start whenever. The monitor should take care of the rest.
Well then. Trying for a consistent speed, I started with a light jog. Soon I was outside the gate and around the corner when I met an unexpected surprise.
Hey, Ippe.
Remy. Hey Remy, long time no see. Well, that's true.
Indeed. Just enjoying the fresh air, I see.
Yep.
You know, if you ever want to come by and visit the library or need to know anything, feel free to ask me.
I will, thanks.
My pleasure.
Afterwards, I finished my lap around the block, arriving only a few minutes after I had started.
I suppose it was too much to ask for a lap without any breaks.
Maybe I shouldn't have expected you to be as fit as we are. I got distracted on the way.
How so? Did you have to stop and smell some flowers?
What? Flowers smell good. I meant Remy.
Remy? Oh, I wouldn't mind if that kicked the bucket too.
What do you have against him? How can you say that? What do you have against him?
He's such a self-righteous do-gooder who can't help but stick his nose where it doesn't belong. I don't care what he does as long as he doesn't mess with me, but he does mess with me, so I do care. Anyways, I got your data, so we can head back inside if you're not too exhausted to walk.
Of course.
Looking at your data, it's kinda hard to evaluate without having any reference points. How much exercise do you usually get?
A little.
I see.
You sure get to ask me a lot of questions here.
All just part of the tests. Though, I think those were all the tests I needed to run on you for today.
Does that mean we're done here?
Oh, some of the data from the scanning machine has been processed. We can look at some pretty pictures of you.
Unflattering as they may be, why don't you print them out and have them framed? I'd rather be looking at some pretty pictures of you instead. Why don't you print them out and have them framed?
Or better still, sell the prints. I could make bank doing that. Thanks for the idea.
Wouldn't I deserve royalties from that?
Sorry, no such brilliant agreement exists.
Oh, of course.
Alright, I totally forgot that you are mammal. To encounter an intelligent mammal of all things, well, reasonably intelligent at the very least.
Why is that so surprising? You already have your myths about humans.
Myths are myths. Having you here in the flesh is an entirely different thing. It's not like I could use our myths to get a scan like this one. It just is so funny to me. Do you nurse your young from your teats as well? Do you nurse your young from your teats as well?
We do.
Let me study your muscle groups for a bit.
Do you want me to take my clothes off again?
I meant the pictures.
Oh, I see.
You can stay for a bit longer in case I have any questions.
Okay. While I continued sitting on the bed, she went up to her table and started looking at the scans of muscle groups. As we thought, her eyes never left the screen.
Some of these structures are very similar to those found in Damien's kind.
I'm not surprised. His stature is similar enough.
True, true. Now shut up and let me concentrate.
Does that approach ever work?
What are you talking about?
You being that rude to everyone.
Sorry.
You apologized. That's a new one.
I don't want to make any excuses. With a high-pressure job like mine, I don't really get to go out and socialize much. Add some deteriorating circumstances to that, and you get my life.
Don't you have any friends?
Not really. If you keep skipping grades like I did and went on the fast track in university, you wouldn't really have the time to make or keep any friends either. I think last time I had a real friend was more than a decade ago.
What happened to that friend?
Well, we went to the same class for a while. I ended up skipping a grade after that year. She found new friends, I didn't. We still met, but those visits became less and less frequent as time went on. I was around 10 years old when her parents prompted me to visit her. She was in the hospital, apparently had been for some time already. I didn't know, because I hadn't been seeing her for quite a while at that point. She had contracted some sort of degenerative disease that caused her to gradually lose control of her muscles. Her case was particularly bad. She was already paralyzed from the neck down by the time I went to visit her. When I entered her room, I couldn't even pretend to be her friend. Lying in bed was just a crude image of her former self. It was as if she was already dead. I couldn't bear to see her like that. It scared me. I didn't stay long. Seeing her like that was... I just told myself I never want to end up like her, dying slowly, painfully, and alone. That was the last time I saw her. She died a few weeks later.
And that's why you became a scientist?
Not really. I became a scientist because that's apparently what I'm good at. Doesn't make my work any less important, though. Just from what we did here today, we might have a few breakthroughs in several areas.
Really?
You are completely different, yet stable evolutionary line. There are some things that are similar in our bodies, and others that are completely different. Anything that is different and works can tell us something new about biology. All the various species have their own challenges and diseases. It'll come in handy somewhere, for sure.
And you're doing all that because of your unselfish heart?
Not really, but if I do a round of the work, then I deserve to have my name on it.
I guess so.
Well, I think that's it for today. You can go if you like.
I wouldn't mind staying for a bit longer.
Really? Well, I want to study those pictures some more, and I can't really have you around if I do anything serious. But maybe some other time.
Really?
Because you're so insistent, I might as well.
Okay.
You know how busy I am, but I can call you if you'd like.
So?
If I don't forget, that is.
Well, I'll leave you to your work then. I cannot skip it all.
The police came and raided the place.
What? Why?
It's a long story, I'm not going to tell it now.
Is it bad?
I don't know yet. I'm not sure how they expect me to work in these conditions, considering I get assignments from the council and the police. And then they both turn around and mess up the place as it's part of their job. It doesn't make any sense to me. Someone's going to hear about this, and there will be consequences, I can tell you that. Anyways, what did you want?
I'm just here to drop this off for you, courtesy of the police.
That's what I'm talking about. Mess up my place, then ask for my help. Something isn't right here, and I'll get to the bottom of this. What is this anyway?
I'm sorry, it's a bloody bandage for the analysis. It's related to Red's investigation.
Alright then, I'll take it. Not for the police department's sake, but for yours. Don't let me hold you up. I'm sorry you have places to be.
Well, see you then.
Yeah.
Cannot skip again.
Udine, wait for me. Good job, Ippe. Vara, do you know who that is? She doesn't talk much. I think we should go inside. Yeah, probably. Well, see you some other time, Ippe. Thanks for coming.
I remember seeing that scene, but, well, it seems I couldn't skip that, so... Well... Seems I've got some messages. Let's see. Huh? An empty message? Let's check the next one. There was another long pause. I almost thought that something was wrong with the machine, but then I heard Anna's voice.
Hey, Ippe. I'm not even sure why I'm calling about this, but it seemed like you wanted to hang out last time, so call me back if you feel like it. If you don't want to, then... well, whatever.
What was that all about? What was that all about? Guess she's here. Hey, Anna.
Hey?
What's going on? You sounded pretty worried on the phone.
Worried? If I was worried, it would mean I was afraid of something that might happen, but I'm way beyond that. I know exactly what's going to happen to me. It's over. It's all over.
What are you talking about?
First they came to my lab, and now they went to my home too.
Who did?
The police. They raided the place. They had a warrant and everything. I already know that they have all they need to convict me. I'm going to die in prison.
Why? What? Why?
It's because of those tests I did on you.
You will die in prison because you looked at my fingernail under the microscope? I'm a bit confused. Why didn't you start from the beginning?
Alright. This goes years back, and you already know half the story. I was a brilliant man who had skipped years in school and was on the fast track to university with an incredibly lucrative career in front of me. You wouldn't believe the efforts I had based on all my accomplishments. I was still in school and already solving problems that no one had even touched before. I had so many awards lining my shelves that new ones just went straight to the trash. I didn't need them. I just enjoyed the challenge. Besides, I could care less about what some old people thought about my work. As if I needed their approval, I was already more than any of them could have ever dreamed to be. The next problem I was going to tackle was an incurable disease. I started my research, but in an ironic twist of fate, my lab contracted that very same disease myself. Whether someone had not been following health and safety protocols as well as they should have, or if I was just unlucky, I'll never know. But the reality was that I now had a disease that was treatable, but not curable. Despite having helped an incredible amount of people in my work, with my work, I was now the one who needed help. Yet there was no one who could help me. No one but myself. I was already planning on working my career anyway, and what better reason could there ever be than doing it to save myself? I told no one about my affliction and set out to do what many others had failed to. Any materials I needed to start my work were easily acquired just by waving my status around. I had free rein over my own land. I could even gotten assistants if I wanted to, but I knew they would only be liabilities. I even had a few good leads for ways to combat the disease, although the one that I chose to pursue was not exactly legal. Not without prior approval by the council. My research was promising though, and while I submitted the paperwork, I knew that these things always moved slowly. Being pushed through the various boards and committees could have taken months, if not years, depending on how generous they would be. I just couldn't afford to wait that long, as I was working against the clock. So, while waiting for the paperwork to be approved, I had already started with my work. I fully expected them to approve it eventually. How could they not, given that I was tackling an incurable disease? The method I was going to use was not necessarily a new one, but it was controversial. It didn't even cross my mind that anyone would object, seeing as I would cure thousands, if not millions of future people. But I was younger then, and a little more naive than I am now. In the end, my full project came crashing down in flames. The proposal that I was sure would be approved was ultimately rejected, putting all the work I had already done into jeopardy. I had already made good progress at the time too. After the rejection, there was going to be an inspection of my workplace in order to determine the progress I had made on the project, which they assumed had been within legal bounds, and didn't include the controversial things outlined in the paperwork. Of course, that meeting was just going to be pretense, because I knew there were already rumors going around about what really went on in my lab. In the end, I had a very little warning. Thankfully, I managed to dispose of the most egregious evidence before they arrived. They found proof of my wrongdoing, but since they didn't find evidence of how far I had already proceeded, I was able to deny most of their accusations. Using the controversial method when it hadn't been approved was still seen as a very grievous offense, however. I was charged and sentenced harshly though the sentence was suspended due to their lack of evidence. With all I had done for them, they knew better than to take away from my license, and I was able to continue working in other areas on the condition that it was within a council-owned facility. I see. So I assume that those tests on me were against whatever conditions they set for a suspended sentence. Exactly. Wouldn't you just do things the proper way and wait for the paperwork to clear? Before my paperwork would even get through, you'd be long gone. Using you as a test subject would be a process that the council would have to discuss with humanity. As such, there might have been another trade agreement and who knows what else. I just didn't have the time. Quite frankly, I don't even know how much longer I have left. This is my death sentence. You thought my test results would help you find a cure? And that's never going to happen now. How did they find out so quickly? It's not been that long since I came to your lab. It wasn't just those tests. There was Redsa too. But Redsa told me he didn't give you any of his blood when you asked for it. Because that's not what I got from him. This is my life we're talking about. Do you think I didn't spend hours on the ground in the hallway of the facility after Redsa's first visit, trying to find a stray hair of or anything else I could use? Or that when I gave him that first generator, I didn't try to graze his skin just enough so that I could salvage a few skin cells? How did they find out about all this? It was Damien, my assistant, that piece of... He was blackmailing me. Why? Because he's jealous of me, jealous of my success. He found out what I was doing with the stuff I could salvage from Redsa. I didn't mind giving him what he wanted though, I just wanted to live. When he died and the police searched his apartment, they found all the evidence he had of me. And now, everything is coming down. I will be punished to the full extent of the law. And I will die in prison. My work will forever be tainted. Not that I'll care about that when I'm dead. Do you remember that childhood friend of mine I told you about? I never want to end up like her, but it seems not even I can do anything to escape that fate. Maybe I deserve it. Maybe it's my punishment. I had to die like she did, because I've left her. I was spent my last days bedridden in a prison cell, and no one would visit me or care. And you know what? With all that data I got from you, I might actually find a cure. I didn't want to cry in front of you. I didn't want the attention or pity. I didn't want it. I didn't cry back when I was diagnosed, and I'm sure as heck not going to cry now.
Don't say anything. Tell her you know about her cancer. So, this is the good or bad ending trigger. But like always, bad ending first.
I admit that I was selfish, always. Yet I did great things. At least that's what everyone kept telling me. You know, after that affair back then and the suspended sentence, the rumors about me never stopped. Did they warn you about me? Tell you to stay away? I'm sure they have. Why are you still here?
I didn't listen to them, I guess. Just like you.
The council, Damien, Remy, they were always sabotaging me. If everyone just left me alone, I wouldn't even need your help. Why couldn't everyone just leave me alone? When they gave me the manager position at the facility, that was just to distract me even more, giving me a free ride over the lab so I'd be tempted to do something I shouldn't. How could I not at least try? One of their so important founding principles is how every individual is important. That's clearly not the case with me. At least, they never showed it was. Now I can say just how different you are. You are the only one who came to me willingly and without any ulterior motives. Or did you?
You invited me. I just knew that invitation.
Just to use you. And you still came back. And you still came back for me. You let me do all those tests on you. So you complained like a pro, but you set it out for me.
I owed it to you.
You don't owe me anything anymore. So what? Maybe I won't have to die alone after all.
I don't know if I'll be... Sorry, I had to catch a little. I don't know if I'll be able to be there.
It doesn't matter. You've already done more than enough for me. I'll remember you when I die. Anyway, enough of that. I hope you don't mind me hanging around here. My place still looks like the police raided it. Oh wait, that's exactly what happened.
Do you need help cleaning up?
No, I can pay someone to do it later. I just don't want to be there right now. Nice apartment you've got here, by the way. Not quite as fancy as mine, but this isn't bad either. I guess the concept treats you nicely, huh?
Hey, it was my decision.
You're such a VIP, aren't you?
I can be that more than if your apartment is nicer than this. Besides, after your rhetoric about being wild and all that when we went on our date, I assumed you were more the type of person who just lives in a hole in the ground.
That's not what I said. I told you I can appreciate all kinds of different experiences. I could survive in the wild if I wanted to, though. Do you want to know what I did on my last vacation? I just started walking in a random direction. I spent a week in the wilderness before I came back. That must be an adventure.
I wouldn't be able to do that without tools.
I could give you some tips if you'd like.
Not sure if I ever need them, but I guess they could come in handy.
Actually, there's one tip that should take care of everything.
Let's hear it then.
Just be a dragon.
Exactly, if you can be a dragon, just be a dragon. That solves every problem in this world.
Then you got everything you need and don't have to rely on tools and other stupid stuff.
Yeah, that's super helpful. How do you think I'm supposed to do that?
Not my problem.
Actually, can you tell me about your advances in genetic engineering? Maybe you could make it happen.
My personal ones?
I was speaking more of your society as a whole, but if you have personal experience, that could also be interesting.
We could do so much if we wanted to. Cloning, genetic scrambling, or hybrids of our various different species. Heck, we could even create new species if we wanted to, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. Tampering with genetics is not allowed. Why? Our enlightened society does not see any value in it. Besides, you know about our Greer's myth, right?
The one about your human creating you? Yes, I know it from Remy.
Yeah, that one. It's the only one we have. Anyway, we are not to tamper with the perfect images after which we were created.
And what would those be?
The belief is that each species was molded for particular tasks or particular role in our society. Really? Some of them aren't even wrong. It suggests certain species should go into certain jobs because of their naturally higher aptitude in those fields. Can you give an example? Well, let's just say that while everyone can join the police force, you'll never be the flyer on duty unless you belong to a species that can fly. That much is a given. I was talking more about if there's any sort of discrimination, for example. You could say so. These structures can be pretty rigid in places, especially where the council is concerned. They really like to employ the members of the various species in their traditional roles. Ironically enough, the perpetual nuisance you know as Remy was a revolutionary case where that didn't happen. In what way? Well, yes, we have heard that from Emera. And I know what happened. Well, a Kansas allied, particularly one who works in the archives, is usually a member of a species with more dexterous hands. You can't really expect a four-legged species to do that kind of job well. And he doesn't. It's really a disaster. He's basically become the laughingstock of the whole town. I don't really. That's not too nice to hear. When Remy initially got the position, there was a lot of controversy about the subject. Some liked it, some didn't. I thought that for Emera, politics was a popularity contest. Doing something controversial and divisive like that doesn't really fit that image. She wasn't like that in the beginning. It's simply because people remember her, though, and now that people know her, she has changed her attitude a bit. It was a good move, because it kept her in the spotlight all the time, and she is using it to gain popularity now. Yes, I sure do remember that one, when talking to Amira. So she just likes the attention? I don't know why she does it, and frankly, I don't care. You had to ask her yourself, but I doubt she'd tell you. I would expect honesty from someone like her. Politics always used to be so messy back home. Scandals, arguments, lies. They were everywhere. We do get the occasional scandal from time to time, and of course there's always rumors. You can't really make people stop talking. In a way, I'm glad we don't have all that anymore. Why not? At some point, it just gets tiring. People get loud, argumentative, and those are supposed to be our leaders. That's not something people like here. If you're a council member who wants to be popular, you don't engage in that kind of behavior. That sounds like a nice change of pace. Not necessarily, since it also leads to reluctant agreements and sweeping issues that should be thought under the rug. You know what? That doesn't jive with me. They like to preserve this fantasy of peace and harmony in our society. For me, it's just so fake. People pretend to be something they aren't conform because they don't want to stand out. They become faceless puppets, like drones in a hive or cogs in a machine. What kind of world do we live in, where speaking one's mind is seen as something bad? I never held back. Now see where that got me. I bet some would argue that it would just be easier to conform them. I could never do that, and besides, I don't want to. There's this thing called integrity, and if there's one thing that society needs, that's it. Now you're starting to sound like a politician. If that's what your politicians sound like, maybe they aren't so bad. Sometimes I just want to walk out to some hours and shake them until they wake up and accept the truth. What is the truth? I'm a scientist. Truth are facts. Truth are facts that are empirically verifiable by science and tests. After all, the tests I do in my job are to find out if assumptions are true or not. I suppose if you ask different people, their definitions of truth would be very different. What's truth to you then? Truth is what I feel is right. I shared your view actually. I know that I know nothing. This one's a difficult one too. I know that I know nothing. What What's that supposed to mean?
It's a philosophical phrase. It means that ultimately we can't really know anything with absolute certainty.
Yeah, philosophy is nice and all, but that doesn't really help me when I'm in the lab. You do seem to like talking about this kind of stuff, though.
I'm not an ambassador for nothing, you know.
You're an ambassador so you can discuss the nature of truth with different cultures? You know, if you ask the wrong kind of person, this kind of discussions could turn very ugly.
I'm certainly here to learn about what you're thinking and how your society works on a deeper level. Of course I wouldn't just walk up to someone on the street and start talking.
Maybe you should be talking with someone in social studies then?
Not necessarily. Even if someone like that gave me their opinion, it's still important to hear the people's voices themselves.
Okay, anything else you want to know?
How much do you really like me?
That's not the kind of question I was expecting.
Well, neither was I expecting that. You got me when things went down, and you say you don't really know anyone else.
So what?
Is it that hard to admit that you like someone?
You know me a little by now. You know what I'm like. Whatever you're looking for, you know I'm not that kind of material.
Not even as a friend.
You want to use imaginary light and words to describe a relationship? We met a few times, and that does it for you?
This isn't about me. Before anything happens to either of us, I just want to know.
You want to tell me you want to tell me how I feel about you? Even if something happened between us, you know it's not made to last. You will go back to your own world, and I'll probably spend the next few years in prison.
You wouldn't lie to commitment anyway, would you?
True. I wouldn't let something like that hold me back. People don't like me, and I don't like people. That's how it always been. Right now, though, I'd have to say that you're probably the person I hate the least.
That's something, I guess.
I also can't deny that you have a certain exotic quality about you.
Now you're talking.
But enough about me. If you put up with me that long, for this long, it can't all just be your own unselfish kindness, can it?
I was smitten with you since the first time I saw you. I don't hate you too. I just did it to be nice. I don't hate you too.
I guess we feel the same way then. You know, this might be our last opportunity to do something. Why not make it worth it?
If you say so, I can. I'm not exactly sure what do you mean by that. I'm sorry, but I can't.
Why not?
Not now. It wouldn't feel right to me.
I see. Well, I guess it's time for me to go then. There is plenty of stuff I have to take care of before they take me in. Research papers, the facility, and other things.
Don't let me hold you up.
Thanks for having me anyway.
Hold on. Yeah, nothing was wrong with what I was thinking was wrong. Alright, time to see Anna's bad ending. That must be her.
Hey, Ippe, looks like you're ready to go.
I didn't think you'd want to go to a community event like this one.
Anything can be fun with the right company. With that argument, we could just stay here. I haven't seen the fireworks in years. With all the crazy poop that's happened to me recently, maybe that'll be a reminder of better days.
Better days? You don't usually talk about yourself like that.
It's because I just don't give a damn anymore. Who cares if you know what that about me? Who cares if the entire no-knows? I certainly don't. These days, I'm just trying to make the most of whatever is left.
Alright, let's go then. After a few minutes of walking, we arrived at a rather empty-looking area near the edge of town. So much for that whole town being out to watch the fireworks.
Yeah, I'm not going to those places. I'm kind of a celebrity, you know. Really. For better or worse, people know about me. Of course they would, given my intellectual status. Or maybe you just don't want to be seen with me. No, that's not it. Actually, that could be quite fun. It would be... It would only be another reason for people to be jealous of me. Oh, I think it's starting. We waited quietly as the stillness of the night enveloped us, so I heard the sound of the first rocket make its way into the night sky afterwards exploding in a pattern of colors. More rockets followed, their thunderous notes echoing throughout the land. Suddenly a terrible realization hit me, considering how public of an event this was and how everyone would be watching the fireworks. Now, the best time for Redsa to make his move. Not only was the British basically deserted, but the sounds of the fireworks would also overshadow any gunshots, giving him as much security as he would ever need. As the boat had been repaired was the mysterious person I met, now was the perfect time for Redsa to make his getaway. Anna was the only one for you. Anna, I think we need to go. Now. Really? The fireworks just started. I know where Redsa is, waiting to stop him. Speak for yourself. This is my responsibility. This is much bigger than you. Are you going to help me or not? Alright, just for you. What do you want me to do, fighting? I'm not sure that would be such a good idea. I'll have to try talking to him first. If you can buy us some time, maybe I get some help. That would be perfect. He'll be at the portal. Let's go.
Maybe I can.
Suddenly, Maverick and Una appeared next to me.
You planned this, did you, Ippe? Traitor! And to think I let you distract me in such a cheap trick, just because I thought there was still a shred of humanity within you? He pulled his gun, not sure which one of us he should be aiming at. Just let me go, and I'll forget this thing ever happened. You've got 6 bullets for 3 people. Do you think you can really do that, Ritza? Do you think this is worth risking your life for? I'll be risking my life for this every day for the last 2 weeks. What did you do during that time? Zip jump behind in your nice apartment? Besides, this generator and the whole building came from our time. They belong to humanity. Suddenly, the administrator came out of the shadows in the hallway behind Ritza. No, they belong to me. Confused, Ritza spun around, aiming his gun at the newcomer who was slowly walking towards him. Who the are you? Freeze, I said freeze. Want to waste your bullets on me? Feel free, you can stop all of us. If you say so. He pulled his trigger, administrator fell to the ground with a dull thought that knocked her mask off. My first instinct was to run away, but as Maverick started charging, so did Anna and I. Maverick was fast, pouncing on Ritza before he had a chance to aim at any of us. He was knocked to the ground and Maverick embedded his teeth into the body before him. Ritza was screaming, he aimed at Maverick's head and frantically pulled the trigger twice. The jaws dislodged and Ritza aimed his gun in my direction. Suddenly Anna jumped in front of me as the deafening bangs of several more shots rang out through the hallway. While I was unharmed, Anna was hit multiple times and fell to the ground. While I watched Ritza's hand dive into his pocket for more ammo, Anna's harsh breathing filled my ears. Quickly, I dove behind the generator's box for cover and saw Anna opening her muzzle, spraying some liquid in Ritza's direction. Ritza looked at her in bewilderment before he suddenly burst into flames. He started flailing his arms around wildly, trying to put out the fire. But the flames didn't stop. He tried to get up, but failed as he fell once more and squirmed around the floor, screaming in agony. A short time later, his body slumped and his cries stopped as he lay on the ground, motionless. I watched for a while as the flames continued burning the now lifeless body. I went over to Anna, only to realize she was covered in blood from her bullet wounds. She was breathing heavily, but was still alive. This looks bad. I had to do something to stop the bleeding. Don't bother. Based on where he got me, I'll be gone soon. Don't say that. I've done out of size before.
I know how this goes. No one can help me now.
You jumped in front of me, Anna.
Why? Why did you do it? I only had a few months left to live. If I was lucky, that is. Anything past that wouldn't even be a life worth living. Would you want to spend your last days strapped to a hospital bed, slowly wasting away until nothing is left but a mere shell, a shadow of your former self? They can prolong my life, but they can't save me. But by doing this, I could save you. So I did. I know you have it in you to achieve and succeed at what you set out to do, even if I couldn't. Even if they'd have me rot and die in prison rather than finding a cure for myself and who knows how many others, just make it count, Ippe. Before I could answer, her head slumped. She was dead. I looked around the room. The fire had stopped and it had become eerily quiet as I checked on the others. While I confirmed that Maverick and Retsa were dead, I was glad to discover that the administrator was still alive. I found a first aid kit in one of the rooms and used it to dress her wound. After a bit of rest, she was able to get up and we walked outside. What are you planning to do now? I don't know, Itsumi. What do you think we should do? We have to stop the comet after all. So you remember my name? What else do you remember? I know we can stop the comet, but I also want to help humanity. I'd be just like Retsa if I didn't try, you know. Just having one word and disregarding the suffering of the other. That's why I was asking for your plan. Sending generators now would be out of the question, since we'll need all we can gather in order to stop the comet. That is correct. Unfortunately, I also note that by the time we stop the comet, humanity will have given up on the portal and disconnected its power source, so we won't be able to help them afterwards. You remember well. The solution to this would be rather simple. We just need to let them know to wait a while longer while the dragons recover from expending all their power sources to stop the comet. We could just send them a letter. I'm afraid that won't be possible. And why is that? After what happened during some of our other attempts, I decided to delay the coordinates to humanity's portal when I repaired this one a few days ago. But the portal has ways to locate other functional portals, right? We could reestablish the connection. Unfortunately, looking for other portals through time and space would be a significant energy expenditure that we can't afford right now, not if we want to stop the comet. I reject this outcome. If there is no way to send them help, I will go back to the day of my arrival and try again. That's why you put those coordinates in after all. No, that's not your call to make. These coordinates were only to be used in emergencies or if we failed. As far as I'm concerned, we did fail. Look at this world and what they have achieved under my guidance. You want to jeopardize this for a chance? Just a chance to save your city as well? A chance. I mean, I always say chance and chance wrong. It's what I came here for. Retsa too, but he's dead now, so I'm the only one they have left to fight for their survival. I can't just leave them now. As nice as it would be, a life here would be a life built on suffering of others. I would be able to live with myself knowing that I could help them, but didn't because I took the easy way out. As far as I am concerned, this isn't over yet. This isn't over yet. You want to save those who sent Retsa and his supporters? Is this really about humanity? Or about Anna? She sacrificed herself for you, not for you to undo it all again. It's her sacrifice that makes it possible to save this world now. Is that not enough for you? No, I'm going. If that is your final decision, you leave me no other choice. Suddenly I saw her reaching for something in one of her pockets. When it parted to reverse the gun, I quickly grabbed it and pulled it out of the way before Itsumi pulled the trigger. In the ensuing scuffle, I managed to wrest it away from her and hit her face with its blunt end. She collapsed in pain as blood started to run down her cheek where the impact had opened the gash. As she squirmed on the ground, I turned to her before I took my leave. You know what? For all Retsa has done, you sure don't seem that different from him when it comes down to it. Goodbye. As I made my way to the portal to return to the day of my arrival, I thought about what had just happened and what I would do now. If anything, Izumi's actions had only strengthened my resolve to make things right. Just right. After all, I had all the time in the world to try. Exactly. You have seen Anna's bad ending. And there's Anna's shadow. Well, that was... I don't really know what to say to that bad ending. Anna did a sacrifice for me, to save me from the bullets of Retsa, but then the administrator was going to shoot me. What? Well, this is certainly getting interesting. Even more interesting than it has already been. You know, I really like this game. I really do. All the characters have their own stories and everything. It's really interesting. I want to know more. But more will be in the future. For now, I'll just stop this video here. Next time we will do Anna's good ending. So, this is Ippe, and we see you in the next video.